Hi, this is Bill Abel with the learning team here at Logos. Thank you for attending today's teaching, Writing Made Simple. I'm here to help you use Logos more effectively so that you can make the most of your time and study. You will get a link to a recording of this session about an hour or so after we finish, and you can review that as many times as you want over the next 30 days. Before we start, I will let you know that I'm using the desktop app today, loaded with the most current version of Logos Max. This means that if you are following along on either the mobile app or the web app, or if you're on an older version of Logos, like Logos 8 or 9, or perhaps even 10 at this point, things will look a little bit different for you, and you might not see all the tools that I show here today. If you have any questions about something that might be missing, please make sure that you email me, and I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as I can. This session is scheduled for about 45 minutes. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer. Sometimes it's a little bit shorter than that. But if you can't stay the whole time, I completely understand that. Just please make sure you take that survey that is located at the top of the webinar. The top right side, you'll see a Logos logo, and right next to it, it says take the survey here. If you would click on that before we leave here today and take that survey, I would really appreciate it. It gives us great information on how we can improve the webinars and make sure that we are teaching the way you need to learn and teaching the things that you want to learn. So yeah, if you can't stay until the end, please make sure you take the survey before you go. And then also watch your email so that you can view the recording later on. You'll get a link in your email to watch your recording later on. Also on the right side, right underneath that Logos logo, you're going to see 3 sections right there. One's a chat, one's a Q&A, one is a handout. The chat is for you. If you would put your name in there, where you're logging in from. That would be great. You can talk amongst each other if you want to in there, or if there's anybody in there you want to say hi to, or you want to ask questions of the group. Sometimes we have some good informed people out there that are coming to these webinars that already know and are experienced with Logos. You can ask them questions if you want to. And also the Q&A section right next to the chat, that's for me. That's if you want to ask me a question. Please put that in the Q&A. Make sure that you do that instead of putting them in the chat. If you put a question in the chat, I likely will miss it. I do not see comments. They actually just kind of float by. So I won't see that. So if you do have a question for me, definitely put it in the Q&A so I see that. The handout section, click there because there's 2 handouts for you that are really good. One of them is an outline of today's teaching. And you can use that today, and you can use that when you watch the video later as well. The other one is a suggested resources handout. You can get good contact information for people outside of the webinar. If you want that, you can get that there. You can see all the webinars I teach and register for them right there by clicking on the title in the document. And then there's a resource guide there for you as well. If you are looking to add resources like commentaries or Bible translations or dictionaries, there's some helpful hints there on what to look at when you're looking to purchase. If you have any questions, questions about the software, like how to use it while you're using it, there's my email address. Make sure that you email me and let me know what your questions are so that I can try to help you. From time to time inside the webinar, I definitely will point to my email and say, make sure if you don't understand this or get it, or you're missing some kind of information here, email me. So my email address, real important that you keep that handy just in case you need it while you study. The phone number you see there for the library, that is our library specialist hotline, and they can help you when you're trying to pick out resources to purchase to add to your library. You're going to want to do that. As you continue to use Logos, you're going to want to add resources. You're going to want to add commentaries and lexicons and things like that. A larger library is good. You don't have to go crazy with it, but you definitely you need to have a large library so that you have a lot of resources to be able to dig into the word and use different groups of scholars. So you're definitely going to want to add resources. Keep that phone number so that when you do think about purchasing more resources, you have a contact there that can help you decide what you need and what you don't need, because sometimes we don't know what we already have. So your library specialist will help you with that as well. The last thing there, where it says software, that is our customer service email address. If you are having trouble with the software, like it's just not loading properly, it's not doing something you think it should, there's your customer service contact right there, that email. Now you can also contact them during the day. If it's during normal business hours, you can call or you can chat with customer service as well. If for some reason you can't figure out who to contact me and I'll point you in the right direction. So I don't want you to be lost. I don't want you to not contact somebody because you don't know how or don't know who. Just contact me and I'll make sure that it gets to the right place. All right. Before we start this webinar, I think it's really important you know 3 skills in Logos. We're going to, obviously you're still going to be here for this webinar, but I have 3 webinars that are really going to help you understand these 3 basic skills. The first skill is you need to know how to read your Bible in Logos. That's number 1. Number 2, you need to know how to use the fact book as your go-to research assistant. Some people don't even know what the fact book is. But that is your go-to research assistant, no doubt about it. It'll be a really important tool for you in Logos. If you don't know what it is, you really need to find out. And then you need to know how to use and create notes successfully. So I've got 3 webinars that cover this. They're listed on the 2 handouts that I gave you, on both handouts, on the outline handout and the other one. You'll see them. One of them is Empower Your Bible Study with Simple Strategies. The other one is Reimagine Your Bible Study with Visual Insights. And then the third one is called The Power of Notebooks. Now, you may have taken the old version of that, which was Capturing Reflections and Insights with Notes. I have a new version called The Power of Notebooks. You should definitely take those 3 classes after this one, because this one will make a lot more sense if you take those 3. So make sure that you look at those, you sign up for those, take those classes, and you'll be happy because you'll be on your way. Now, you can take this on your own, okay? So if you haven't taken the other ones, no big deal, okay? You can go backwards and take them, but make sure you sign up for the Power of Notebooks, because that's kind of like the precursor to this one, all right? So make sure you sign up for that. All right. Now, today, I am going to show you, I'm not going to show you how to write a paper. Hopefully you didn't think that was what the class was about. It's not a college course here. So I'm not going to show you how to write a paper. I'm going to show you how to use the Logos tools you have to better organize your research and make the process of writing simpler. Okay, so that's what we want to do here today. So I want to show you tools you can use to organize your writing process. I want to show you how to set up your software for citations. Okay. And then we want to learn how to collect research, and we want to learn how to cite our resources right inside of Logos. All right. So those are the things that we're going to learn here today. I'm going to turn my camera off. We don't need that. And I'm going to get Logos on the screen because we do need that. Let's go ahead and first set up our software. All right. We want to set it up so that our citations are ready, or the style is ready for us whenever we need to write and we need citations. It's in the right form. There's 2 ways to do this. Okay. Most of the time, people will go down to the help menu, bottom left corner. There's the 3 dots. You'll see that I'm hovering over those and it says help pop up. It pops up right there. This is our main help menu. So we're going to click there. Then we're going to see where it says program settings, just about halfway up that menu. It says program settings. Click on that. And now you'll see the program settings pop up. All right. And there you'll see about 5 options down. It says citation style. All right. Right now it's set to Turabian, 9th edition, author date style. That's what I used most of the time when I was in seminary. Sometimes I had to use APA. And if you do, that's okay. You can switch. We click this little arrow and you've got all these different styles that you can use in here. Most of the major styles are in here, so you shouldn't have to worry about missing a style. So right now it's set to Turabian. If I wanted to, I could switch to APA just very quickly like that. And now it's set. If I write a paper or I copy something out of one of my resources and and I paste it into a document, like a Word document or something, it's going to automatically give me the footnote. And then it's also going to give me the ability to generate bibliography later on in the APA style as well. Okay, so that's one way we can set up our citations. The other way, we can go right to what's called the command box. This is up here at the top. Now, in the web app, just so you know, because I found this out by happenstance a while back. In the web app, you're going to see the same tool, but in the web app, it does not act as a command box. So the command I'm giving you is not going to work on the web app, just so you know that. It only works in desktop. So this is the command I'm going to give you: set citations to, and then you choose whatever style you want. Now, Logos is going to give you some of the more popular styles here, but I'm going to use that Turabian again. Okay, we're going to set it back to Turabian. So I just typed Turabian in here, and then right here is the one I want. So I'm going to choose that, and now it's set to Turabian. So now, again, when I copy something out, I copy and paste something, it's going to paste the footnote along with it, and then we'll be set up again when we want to do a bibliography. Okay, all right, great. All right, so the paper that we're going to do today, all right, and we're not writing a paper. I'm just showing you how to set up all the tools here. The paper that we're going to write is on the topic of humility, okay? And we have picked the author of John MacArthur. So I am going to find out information what John MacArthur says about humility. All right. So what is the first thing I'm going to do? All right. Hopefully, you know what the favorites tool is. Many of you don't. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to show you what I do with the favorites tool. Okay. And how I think of the favorites tool. I think of the favorites tool like a file cabinet. Okay. It's a file cabinet that is going to hold specific folders for specific topics. Now, it could be you might have classes that you're taking. If you're in seminary and you want to divide them up, actually, I think I have some here. Training. There we go. So look at these different class titles here. So what I did here was I showed somebody how to create different folders. These I think of as as folders in my file cabinet for a class that I was teaching. You could even go deeper and say, okay, here's where my notes are. Here's where my papers are, my drafts, my searches, my resources. The point here to show you this very quickly is that it's organization. That's what the favorites tool is for. You're going to organize your research. What we do here in the favorites tool is we create shortcuts to specific information. So if for some reason you delete this, delete the folder or whatever, the resource is still there. The information is still there. You just have to go manually get it rather than use a shortcut, because your shortcut would be lost at that point. So so take a look at this. This is like a file cabinet. Okay. Each one of these little folders that you have here, I think of those as drawers inside of the file cabinet. And then inside the drawer, again, you're going to have folders. There we go. Right. Or actually, here's the folders. Okay. And then you have information in those folders. So let's see how we make those. Let's do this in an organized fashion so we can make sure that we can come back over here and start gathering information for our paper about humility. All right. Let's first thing we have to do is create the drawer. All right. We've got the file cabinet open, the favorites tool, but I need to go in where it says add new folder. And actually, if I do it here, it's going to add it to this folder here. So I'm going to come up and get rid of that line, add new folder, and it puts it right here at the top. Okay, so I've got a new drawer here. I think of them as file drawers, and we'll just say MacArthur. I would keep the naming convention very simple. Okay, Mark MacArthur Humility. That's what our paper is going to be on. And again, all I did was click add new folder, and it goes right here. It asked me for a title, which I put in there. Now what I can do is I can start making my little the hanging folders that are inside the drawer. I can start doing that by going over to the three dots here, and I'm going to add a new folder. All right. Let's just put on here library. Okay. One of the folders is going to be library. Let's add another one. One of the folders is going to be, there we go, searches. Okay. One of the folders is going to be, let's add another one. It's going to be notes. Okay. So we've got those right there. We can start with those. I can add more as I go if I want to. All right. So I've got file folders here hanging in my drawer, and my drawer is inside my file cabinet. All right. Pretty easy to figure that kind of stuff out. Now, what we want to do is start collecting our research, right? So why don't we go in and grab the resources that we are going to use for this paper. All right. So we're talking about the author of MacArthur and the topic of humility. So let's grab all of the books I have in my library that have been authored by MacArthur. Let's start there. Okay. We can do that in our library. Go to the filter section over here, and then we're going to just click on author. Look for John MacArthur. I don't see him, so I'm going to click more because I know I have books by him. And we'll keep going down. Now, this is, if you didn't notice it, this is sorted by how many resources of these specific topics you have. So there's John MacArthur right there. So I'm going to click on that. Now I see over here on the side, these are all of the resources I have where John MacArthur gets a writing credit. Okay. So all my MacArthur stuff. So what I want to do right first off is create what's called a collection. And the collection is going to be used in my searches so that I only search John MacArthur materials. I don't search anybody else's stuff. Okay. Because that's the person that I'm able to use inside of Logos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little info button, and then I'm going to click on the first resource. Hopefully you know how to create collections. If you don't, this should be slow enough for you to be able to do it. So I clicked on the first resource. I'm going to scroll all the way down without clicking to the last one. And I'm going to, before I click that last one, I'm going to hit the shift key and hold it. And now I'm going to click on that last one. And what that does is it selects all of the resources in between the top click and the bottom click. Okay. It selects all of them. It even tells you there's 47 books selected. Those are all of the MacArthur books. Now I'm going to come down here and say save as collection. Very quickly, I just saved all of those as a collection. Now I just have to name it up here. Going to take that unnamed out of there, and I'm going to be very creative when I call it MacArthur Humility. Like how I did that? Very, very fast. I was that creative. MacArthur Humility. So now I've got a collection that I'm going to be able to use of just John MacArthur books. So when I do my searches, I'm going to select that as the group of resources to search in. I'll show you how that works, but let's save that collection. All right. So that if I need to come back to it and add anything to it or delete anything from it, I can do that very quickly. So let's save that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to left click. I'm going to drag this. I'm going to click and hold and drag it and drop it into this folder where it says library. Okay. Because that's what we're dealing with is our books. So I'm going to left click, drag it. See that little plus sign? That means I'm going to add it somewhere. And I'm just going to drop it right there in the library section. So what that does is create a shortcut to this collection. It doesn't actually move the collection there. It actually makes a shortcut. So in case I'm working in here and I delete this for some reason, the collection's still in your library. It's just the shortcut that has been eliminated. Okay. All right. Keep that. All right. We've got the collection made now. All right. The next thing let's do some searches, and we're going to search those books that we just, that collection that we just created. So let's go in. We're going to open up our search, and we're going to do a book search. That's the first thing we click on is books. Now we have two different search engines that we can use in Logos. One is a smart search, one is precise. Okay. Smart search is where we ask questions. What did John MacArthur say about humility? Okay, just a quick question. Hit enter. Oh, wait, we forgot a step. All right, but this is a very important step to show you. So this is a good one. So I asked that question, but what did I do? I asked it of all my books. So I got a lot of results here that I'm not going to use because they're not from just John MacArthur. Okay, they could be from other books. Even though I've got John MacArthur's name in here, it may be coming from a different book. I don't want that. So I created that collection for a reason. So when you go to your books search here, click on your books because you're now going to change where you're looking. All right. We're not looking at all of our books. We are going to scroll down to where it says collections because we made a collection and we're going to choose this specific one, MacArthur Humility. There we go. Now we're going to redo this search by just clicking the cursor at the end of the question, hitting return. And now we're only searching MacArthur's resources. Very important, okay, that you know that because that's part of the battle here with research is we have to look in the right books, in the right places. All right, so we got our search done and we want to save that search, okay, so that we can come back to it at one point. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go, ooh, I'm going to take it the same way. I'm going to left click, I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to drop it into the searches file folder. Okay, so now I've saved that one. We can also do, if you want to, you can do both of these searches. You can do one or the other if you want to, but we can also do a precise search. Remember, it's just two different search engines, but it may come up with different results for you. All right, we're still looking in the same spot, MacArthur Humility, but we're going to do a precise search, and I'm just going to enter the term humility because now it's going to tell me anything that has to do with humility, not just what John MacArthur said about it, but it's going to tell me anything that comes up with humility in the MacArthur books. So there's humility. I'm going to choose it here from my menu, hit return, and look at, we've got 2,788 results. I'm just going to click here, and there's all my results. Okay, so I've got that now too. I can save this search. Let's save that one so we can come back to that later. Again, what I'm doing is creating what? Shortcuts. So if I come up here and I say, let me see that, that's smart search again, click on it. There it is. It's going to run it for you. All right, very quickly, very easily. There you go. There's your the same results will come up. As a matter of fact, if you add books to your library and they qualify as a John MacArthur written book, you can add them to that collection, run this search again, and it'll include the new books as well. Okay. All right, great. So you've got your searches there. Actually, we need some resources, right? So maybe we want to go in and we want to look at one of these resources. Let's see, there's some sermon archives here. That's okay. We can do that. We can look at this John MacArthur sermon archive. Let's click on it and open it. Here's something that's written here about humility. Maybe that's something that we want to save. So how do we highlight this for future use? You remember how to do that? All right, so let's go in. We're going to create, and I'll close my search here. And we are going to open up our notes tool. And inside my notes tool, I want to create a notebook. All right, now my notebooks are going to house all the notes that I take inside my resources that pertain to this subject. All right, so I want to create a new notebook. There's two tools here in the sidebar in your notes tool. One of them is notebooks. We're going to click on the plus sign, and we are going to name this very creatively once again, MacArthur Humility. Okay, now that book, I just named it, and I hit the enter sign, which saves that name for me. Now it's in line here. It goes in alphabetical order. So you're going to see, there we go, MacArthur Humility. I'm going to click on it. and select it. That means you're actually opening that notebook. All right. And I'm also going to come over here again to that section that was talking about humility. And that was over here. And Jesus said the key to greatness, and he said this in many different passages, is humility. Okay. So maybe I want to save that. I'm going to highlight that in my text. And I'm going to use a highlight. I'm going to highlight, actually, I'm going to select it. That's the better term. I'm going to select the text and then highlight it with my highlighter. Logos creates a note for me so that I remember there's a highlight, and it puts it right in that notebook for me. So I never have to worry about whether the notebook or where the note is or anything like that. I'm just going to go right to the notebook and find all my notes. Let's take a couple of more. Let's see. This says he was a man of humility. Okay. We're going to do the same thing. Select, highlight, Logos adds it to that notebook. Okay. Again, if you don't know how to use the notes tool in the notebooks, please sign up for the Power of Notebooks. I'll teach you all about this tool. Okay. If you already know, then you should know how this works. All right. Let's just do one more. Pride curses greatness. Love that. Okay. There's another one that goes right in that notebook. Now, what's really cool is we're going to take that notebook and we're going to move the notebook into our file folder. Now, what's cool about it is we are going to close it, close our resource. We don't need that open right now. Now let's go back to the notes tool. We open it. See, that notebook is not selected here. Okay. Right now, I'm not working inside of that notebook. But if I go back to the notebook this way and I choose that specific notebook, the next time I'm studying, it's going to go right to the MacArthur Humility Notebook. Anything now, any notes I add are going to go right in that notebook again. All right. So that's a key right there. That shortcut goes right to your notes tool and right to that notebook. Just remember that. Okay. All right. So now you got a notebook. You've got some notes in the notebook. How else can we add information? Here's another great way. So the notebooks are great, and notes are great if you're going in and highlighting things, or you're taking notes. Maybe you're actually taking physical notes inside the resource and typing notes in. That's one way to take notes. But another way while we're doing research is you might want to grab chunks of information instead of bits of information. Now, a good way to do that, and let's open up let's actually go back to that search we just did, and we'll open up another resource. Okay, actually, let's just open up the same one, and you'll see in here. Okay, here's some other sections there where we had that. So we've got this resource open. We could actually take this resource as well and save that in my library so that I know I'm working in that specific book. I can just go right here and drop it in my library, and it's right there. So if I close that book for whatever reason and I want to get back to it, just click on it, and it's got the shortcut that goes right back to that same section you were just in. Okay. All right. So now you've got this. What's the other tool we can use? It's called the clippings tool. All right. And it's a note as well. You may want to use a subfolder over here and say, instead of just adding notes here, maybe you even want to add a folder here that says clippings, and you can save all your clippings documents right there. All right. And what's a clippings document? Let's go into documents. Okay. Open that up. You'll see this little window pop up. You want to go to where it says new, click on that, and just click on clippings. Now we've got a new clippings document. And then we're just going to use that same MacArthur Humility. I can't believe I'm spelling it right every time I type it in there. That's never happened. So there's MacArthur Humility. And then what we want to do is start adding information here. How do we do that? All we have to do is let's grab a section. All right, let's do that search again, just because I want to highlight the sections in that resource that talk about, actually, it doesn't matter. Let's just grab a section. Let's say you want a big section like this section right here, Douglas MacArthur, all the way down to here. And you're not ready to cut this up into little bites. All right. You want to take the whole section, select the whole section. And then you've got two options here. One is come over to your clippings document and just click on add clipping. And that adds the clipping. Or, and I'll explain the clipping here in a second, or you can go in and say, here's another big section. I'm going to select that section and I'm going to drag it over and drop it down below. And now that section is also in here. Okay, you've got these two sections. Now, what's cool about the clippings is if you open up your clippings document and you don't have the resource open, it's got a link right here. Okay, just like the anchor inside of your notes, this link, you click on it, it's going to open it back up into that section. Okay, tells you when you dragged it over, when you created this clipping. You can tag it. So if you want to maybe use this for an introduction, you can tag it and you've got that ready for that so that you can find that right away if you're searching. You've got notes here. You can take notes. If there's something you want to add to this text, you can do that right there. You can get bibliography information by clicking this little info button here. There's the bibliographic information if you need that for your document. Okay. So good information here for you. I think I just got rid of that. I did. I hit the wrong button. Sorry. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to move that section over again. Add clipping. Okay. There it is. Now it added it to the bottom. I think you can drag it. Can I drag that back up to the top? I don't know if I can. I think I can. Yep. So I was able to drag that section because it was first up to the top. Okay. And put it right back in there again. So this is a great tool. All right. This is a great tool to go in and save chunks of information so that you can come back to it at a later time. All right. So I've got my clippings document. What am I going to do with that now? So I have a shortcut to it. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drag it and I'm going to drop it in the clippings folder. Okay. Now I've got that clippings document. Right. And again, it's a shortcut. It's not the document itself. It's just a shortcut. So now I've got that in there as well. All right. The clippings documents are cool too, because you can actually create bibliographies. If you go to the three dots here on the side, you can save this as a bibliography. So if you've got lots of information here, I've only got two things here and they come from the same resource. But if you have lots of information, you can save it as a bibliography. There you go. Okay. And now that's saved. And you could actually, maybe if you had a research category, let's add that in here. Let's go to our drawer, add a folder, and this one will say research. Okay, and we're going to drag our bibliography document over to research so that we can continue to build on that as well. Okay, you got all these tools now that are able to bring this in for you and save this information for you. All right. How about scripture? Do we want to know what the Bible says about humility? Of course we do, right? Let's open up our Bible. Actually, we don't need our Bible. We're going to open up our search. And we're not going to search MacArthur humility now, our collection. We're not even going to search all of our books. We're going to search the Bible, right? So let's go in and let's just put that term in there, humility. We're searching our Bible. And here are the places in the Bible that we can find that talk about humility. Now, here's a couple of things we can do. Let's add another folder to our drawer. And this one we'll call passages. Okay, now there's a couple things we can do. We can save this search. That's number one. We can drag that search over here and drop it right in my searches folder. Okay, now that's in there as well. And if we want to, we could create what's called a passage list from this. We can go into the little three dots over here, save as passage list. And now I've got a passage list where those 10 passages that talk about humility in the Bible are listed. All right, so now I've got a passage list too. And I can slide that over to my passages folder. All right, and another shortcut. See what I'm doing here? I'm able to take notes. I'm able to take sections of resources called clippings. I'm able to use those. I'm able to use searches. I'm able to make collections of my books so that I can search just those books. I'm bringing all this research, all this information together to make it easier to write my book. As I start to write it, I can start pulling some of this information off of here. Okay. Now let's start to write it. Let's go in. I'm actually going to make the screen if I can. Yep, made it a little shorter. Sometimes it doesn't allow me to do that, but it did this time, so that's good. So I'm going to drag over a Word document, a blank Word document. I want you to see how this works. So I'm going to put that right there. Okay. Now it'll pop back up for you. You'll see it. Let's just say I wanted to take a section of this clipping, right, or this book, and I wanted to copy and paste it into my document. Okay. I selected it. Now I can just hit copy here, go back to that Word document, click on Word. There it is, open back up again, and paste it in. And what has Logos done here? Besides just paste that section in, what's Logos done? Guess what? Created a footnote. See that footnote there? It might be hard for you to see. I'm gonna make that a little bit bigger. There we go. There you go. You should be able to see that now. See the footnote? So Logos added a footnote and added it to the bottom in the correct form, right? Because I'm using Turabian. I set that up at the beginning, and it's all set right here for me. All right. Very easy to go in and do this stuff. You can go in, grab a section by selecting it, copy, go back to your Word document, and we'll just paste it in. And there it is. Created another footnote, the second footnote, added it to the bottom. All right. So easy peasy. You're going to be able to go in here. You're going to be able to gather your research, bring it all together in one place. And then you're going to be able to go ahead and start writing your papers. Okay. Same thing over here. Let's open up. Let's grab some information from, not the bibliography. Let's grab some information from, that's the same stuff. Not the passages. Where are the notes? Oh, there's my notes. Okay, now let's go back in. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's close that note. Let's go back into that note, back into that resource, and maybe we want to save that section, right? We want to add that to our document, right? So I'm going to go in, copy it down to my Word document, paste it in, and it actually there's a mistake here. It looks like there should be a space there. It copied that and it copied the font. So you copy the font as well and gives me that footnote. And then there's the footnote at the bottom as well. Okay. So very easy to go in, get yourself organized, get your papers to start writing. You've got all these tools built in. Let's just review very quickly what tools we used here. Okay. What's this? This is the favorites tool. We think of this as a file cabinet. Okay. We went in once we had our file cabinet open, which is our favorites tool. Once we had that open, we created a drawer. Okay. How did we do that? We added a new folder. Okay. And it gave us, or we added this folder, MacArthur Humility. Once we did that, we created our file folders. Just like in a drawer where it's got the hanging folders, right? The hanging file folders. That's what you've got here. Okay. This is going to hold all your passages and documents related to passages. This is going to hold all your research. Okay. just like I had this research here. So if all of this stuff is closed, okay, we're going to close it all. And you wanted to come back to any of it, click the passages. There's your passage list. Okay. You want to open up your research. There you go. That's your bibliography. Right? Go down to your notes. I can look up my clippings document, which is right here. Oops, that's actually my notebook. My clippings document is in that folder. There we go. There's my clippings document. All right. Again, these are shortcuts to the research that you've already done, the things that you've already done. Okay, very easy to go through. Okay, I don't see any questions at all, and we've got that fairly quickly. So, yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to turn my camera back on. If you have any questions, let me know. Please, before we go, there we go. Take the survey. That's very quick for you. It'll only take you about 30 seconds, but it's really valuable to us to make sure that we're teaching you the right things in a proper way that you can understand and slow enough, but not too slow. And there's my email address. If you need me for questions, I'm available pretty much whenever you need me. And then there's the phone number for the library specialists. They can help you if you're looking for help with, hey, wait, maybe you don't know what level or what version of Logos you have. And if you're on Logos 8 or 9 and you don't know that you're a couple versions behind us here, maybe you don't know that. And maybe you don't know how easy it is to get involved with the new Logos. So talk to your library specialists about that. Or if you have questions about commentaries or anything like that, they can help you with that as well. All right. Thanks again for being here. I appreciate it. If you need anything, reach out to me. And hopefully we'll see you at another webinar sometime this week. If not, have a great week, rest of the week, great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Have a great day. God bless. Bye-bye.